with excellent reason. I mean, the 2015 season was a monster year for the freshman tour. It came out of nowhere, really. I think it was a pleasant surprise of the 2015 season. And as of late, we've seen the tour announce different drivers that have committed coming back to the 2016 tour. And one driver that has generated a lot of buzz because I think people have been waiting to see what a full-time campaign can mean out of his team is none other than Matt Pritiko. We have him on the line. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time for us, my friend.
Hey, no problem. Appreciate it.
You back in 2016.
Me too. It'd be nice to run a full season. Unfortunately, we had a little mishap last year at Delaware Speedway. Maybe a quarter way into the race, totally demolished the car. But we'll be back in 2016 with one of the fastest cars out there. I guarantee you that. Man, it's quick. That McCall chassis, it's working real well.
Now, that was without question the hardest hit you've ever had in a stock car, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the front end of the car was through the dash. The center of the car was twisted, and I bent the rear end. I think the only thing salvageable in that car was my driven steering wheel, my engine, and my tranny. Other than that, I think even my tack was the only good thing in that car. So yeah, we wrecked a lot of panels, a lot of structural pieces in that car. Just it was I think it was a 6 or 8 year old car, and it wasn't even I wouldn't even say it was a real race car. It was a 2-seater. For ride around.
Right.
So
was it Erlin's old 2-seater?
It was Erlin's old 2-seater. So you know it's had a ton of laps on it. And man, that car worked out well. We were pretty quick in that car for a lot of races. But it's finally nice to see a real race car in my garage working on a beautiful piece, and it's a quick one.
Because you know Jonathan Erlin is a competitor, whether he's the only one in the car or he's got someone else in the car. I'm sure he had a passenger. He had that thing just pinned, foot to the kitchen, right to the firewall. I'm positive.
They were screaming. I guarantee you they were screaming.
So, and that was a wreck. That morning you had steering issues, or what was it? You were grappling with that car all day. And it sort of ended with the wreck, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
we had issues. We only had one lap in qualifying. I think what the issue was the clutch wouldn't disengage, so it was more or less slipping all the way down the back straightaway. And I don't know what happened to it during the week or two off, but we obviously didn't get it in correctly. Obviously didn't have enough time to go out and test it before we did. So we had a lot of issues that morning at Delaware Speedway. We finally got the tranny out, got that clutch respaced, and it worked for one qualifying lap. But unfortunately, what actually happened was one of the brake rotors shattered going into corner 3 as soon as I got on the brakes, and that just sent me for a joyride.
It's so odd that 2015 was such a terrible year for you, because 2014 was the best year of your career. I mean, it was a real sort of juxtaposition thing where 2014 you won the Delaware Championship, you won, was it the Grisdale Triple Crown? You also won?
Yep, won that as well.
And then you were second in the APC Six-Pack Series. So I mean, you had this monster year. You came into the tour with everyone, I'm sure, pointing at you with these gigantic expectations. For you to not be able to follow up on that year and to sort of fall flat, how difficult was it for you to kind of sit on the sidelines and work through all that?
Oh, it was a huge bummer. It was definitely a game changer in my attitude. It's you hate to see everyone else going to the racetrack and you're stuck at home because you have no race car to race. Like that whole wreck happened when the Flamborough Salvo race was going on. So we wrecked in Flamborough, obviously, and then we couldn't make it out to the Salvo Speedway race, even though it got rained out. Kind of worked in our favor. Still doesn't matter. You hate to see everyone else going to the racetrack and you're stuck at home, sitting in your garage, looking at a car that looks like a big triangle. But nonetheless, it was definitely a down year in the first half after such an amazing 2014 season. Like I said, winning the Delaware Speedway, the Grisdale Triple Crown, and man, we were so close on that APC Six-Pack as well. It just definitely came down to the wire. So I almost had 3 championships, but I'm not going to complain about having 2 and finish second in the other one.
It was a really a year that introduced you to the masses, because the fans of Delaware knew how good you were. But I think if anybody else in the province was sleeping on you at all, they got introduced to you in a big way with the numbers you put up in 2014. 2015, obviously, we'll just strike that one right out of the record book because you were sort of the year was almost you had to press pause before it even really got started. It was a wash. It really was a wash.
It was.
Were you able to keep tabs on the APC series though? Even when you're out on injured reserve and you're hurt and you're on the sidelines, were you still watching the tour and getting a feel for what was happening here?
Yeah, every race car driver is gonna see what's going on. You're either following your tweets, the series tweets, or their Facebook page, or even their website when they have timing and stuff like that on there. You're always wondering what's going on, and it's not just myself. It's the whole crew, my father, everyone who works on the race car really wants to be at the racetrack. That's what we love doing. So when we can't make it out to a race like that, we're always going to watch and see what's going on, or shoot a couple texts, who's ever there, see what's going on. But it's no fun sitting out and watching everyone else drive around on a racetrack. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But on the bright side, I think we came back halfway in that 2015 season, and we definitely came out rocking at Sunset Speedway.
And we got to reignite this friendly rivalry with you and Dale Shaw, because 2014 was great. The Six-Pack Series, all the chirps leading up to the races, people loved it. And then he sort of hit high gear in 2015, and you weren't able to sort of be there and try to keep him out of the
I wasn't able to kick it into gear.
No, exactly. It's hard to do that when you're in the wall, right? I mean,
no kidding.
So 2016, you got to come back and you got to try to wrestle that championship away from him, right?
Oh, for sure. He's an awesome driver. He's a good buddy of mine, and I miss shooting him mean but fun tweets over Twitter here and there, and that's what the series needs. A little razzle dazzle stuff like that over the internet, and it's cool stuff. You read it and say, oh man, this is gonna be a fun race to watch next race or something like that. But it's what the series needs, stuff like that. And we're good buddies. I love racing against them. We can race 50 laps side by side without even touching each other. So I think himself and I are definitely two drivers to look for in the 2016 season.
It's funny because his 2015 was a lot like your 2014 in terms of endearing himself to maybe some fans or other competitors that may have been taking him lightly. I think a lot of people, just like they did with you when you won the Delaware Championship, sort of stood back and said, holy shit, Dale Shaw is really good. He's got a really good program, just like they did with you in 2014. Now, was there anybody else on the APC Tour that surprised you a little bit? Maybe someone that you would have initially counted out or not paid any mind to, and they came out and put down a pretty good season?
To be honest with you, with the series the way it is and the different tracks we go to, you can't count anyone out. I don't race a lot at Sunset. Obviously, I don't race a lot of Flamborough or not Flamborough, Peterborough. You don't know who's fast there. So with this series, you can't count anyone out. It's the regulars who race at that track every week who are going to have that upper hand, who you don't know, and you always have to keep your eyes in the back of your head just because you don't know who's coming up behind you, or you don't know who's in front of you. You don't know how you're going to pass them. So in my mind, you're going to always have to look out for what you're doing, because there's always going to be that one guy who's super quick, so you just can't rule anyone out.
Now, speaking of Delaware Speedway, no kidding you don't race there very often, because you haven't been back there since you podiumed at the Classic a few years ago, am I right?
3 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah, that's when me and Bentley had at it on that last lap. That was a fun time.
See, as well as you get around that place, you'd think that you'd want to go there more often.
I do. Right. I don't. Yeah, I don't know why we don't, but sometimes I look at the pictures after what happens at some of those races, and I'm glad I stayed home.
It's an all or nothing spot, man.
It really is.
Spot.
Those walls are equally as hard as anywhere else.
You're gonna walk out there feeling like a rock star, or you're gonna need, the tow truck to help get your car back into the trailer for you. Yeah, There's not much of an in between.
Either you're winning or you're getting ridden out there home. So yeah, it's good to, at least from my experience, it's good to start out front up there. If not, make sure you're on the inside, because that's the only way to get around that track.
So the old car worked really well at Peterborough. The new car has not been there yet. Tell me a little bit about this new chassis. You said it's the first new car you've ever had, so that's a big deal for you. How much of your old car is still alive inside of this new piece you have?
I think the only old parts from the old car on this new car. Same engine, same tranny, same steering wheel, same tack, but all the other gauges are all new. They all broke in the collision. There's really not a lot of stuff from my old car into this new car. This new car is so different. I had to figure out how to work the sway bar, the 3-piece sway bar. I never used one of these sway bars before. Everything is totally different in this car. It's a straight rail car compared to my Primer car, 2-seater Primer car from a couple of years ago. It's a whole new game changer. These cars are so quick now. It's such a nicely built McCall car. I'm super happy to have it.
And then, so it's completely different from everything you've been used to from the moment you came out of road course racing, and you strap into this new car, very little practice in it, and then you put it on the podium at Sunset. I mean, even someone like yourself that's accomplished so much, and certainly you have a certain level of confidence in your ability, but did you surprise yourself with how well you did in your first Tour race back?
I certainly did. I really didn't expect that. We were gunning for a top 5. Lucky enough, we spent 2 or 3 days at Delaware Speedway, really shaking it down. Luckily enough, we had Mike Paul come out there, and he was in full support, and he was in full support when we were at Sunset Speedway as well. So with all his support and Walters, who definitely played a big role in those races we had with him, I had all the products given to me to win the race, and we had such a close chance to win that race. I think we led for a little while, and then we got past with maybe two or three laps to go. It was definitely a close one, but I'm lucky enough to have every product given to me that is eligible to win this race. So I just have to believe in myself and put the right corners together and pull off with a win.
You mentioned Tom Walters, and I wanted to ask about that because not a lot of people get to work with Tom. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's still active. He still has his own program, and he races as much as he can. So you got to spend a lot of time with him at the shop at McCall's, at the track at Sunset, bouncing ideas off of him. And you've mentioned to me off camera and how big of an impact he played with your program. I mean, what was it like to work with him for the short amount of time that you had?
It was truly an experience. It's so nice to have him on the radio and for me to communicate back and forth to him while I'm driving, especially at a track like Sunset where he's so good at. He'll tell me where to go on the restart. He'll tell me which line to run in qualifying when we're on the radio. He's like another driver driving the car. He helped me out so much, and it's so nice to actually communicate with a driver who knows what you're feeling in the car or knows what you want to do, and to maybe throw something at the car. He'll know exactly what we're talking about, and he'll make that change, and it's always a good change. So I had the best experience working with him. He's a heck of a driver, and he's definitely a heck of a crewman too. Just because you have that upper edge, you can explain, hey, it's a little loose going to the corner, a little loose in the center. He'll tell me either to back my line up a little bit or we'll make a change, because he's always out on the track watching me, and like I said, tells me where to go, and he shows me all the right lines, and it was a joy to work with him.
It seems like every year for the last 3 or 4 years, Tom has hinted that he wants to step away from active competition. He wants to start something with a driver coaching gig or something similar to that, and it really does seem like a role that he was born to play. He's just such a competitor. He can't drag himself out of that cockpit full time. He just enjoys it too much. But I can't wait to see. Oh, I know. And when you run as well as he does, I mean, why would you want to quit?
Exactly.
I can't wait to see what he can do as a driver coach when he finally does sort of get into that role full time. Because if what you're telling me is true, I mean, he's meant to play this role.
Yeah, and especially with this APC Series, you have some of the best drivers. Well, they are the best drivers around, and you need that crew chief driver pairing that can win a championship. You know, you can't be working with someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, because it's just not going to combine very well. You need that person who knows what you're talking about, knows what you're doing to actually win a championship. And that's a great example of Dale and his dad, right? I cannot believe how fast they are at the racetrack, and Dale has his dad to kind of coordinate back and forth of what the car's feeling, you know, how everything's doing. So it definitely plays in his advantage as well.
They got this communication between those two. It's like they communicate on brain waves. Like they can tell what each other are thinking. It's wild when you look at Dale and Jake when they go to work on that car. They're working in symmetry. It's pretty wild. So you're absolutely right. The crew chief plays an enormous role, and you've got a great team. I know that Tom has his own program, so he might not be back full time, but you've got your regular cast of characters that'll be back sort of supporting you this year, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Jimmy will be back. Ron Perrin will be back. He always comes up with some crazy cool ideas. I don't know whether they're from Cole down south or whatnot, but he always has a cool idea, either from Circle Track Magazine or, like I said, from him. He always likes to throw fun stuff at the car. Daryl and Tech doesn't always like it, but hey, it is what it is. You got to keep Tyrrell on his toes, man. Yeah, I'll shoot him a text and say, hey, can I do this? And so, no. So, you know, we definitely keep him on his toes, and everyone else will be back again this year. We had a great 2015 team. Jimmy helped out a ton. Ronnie helped out a ton. Same with Tommy. So they'll be back again in 2016, and we're looking forward to it. 2014, you kind of dipped your toe in the pool in terms of NASCAR Canadian Tire Series racing, or NASCAR Pinty's racing, as it were. And it really felt like we were on the edge of losing you at the short track level, at the weekly level, and because you'd kind of fallen in love with the series and with that level of competition. Did the APC Series bring you back to late model racing? Because was there a chance you were sort of done racing the late model if there wasn't a sort of high level tour to keep you busy? Yeah, I think as much as I think this APC Tour is very comparable to the Pinty's Tour. It has some of the best drivers. Yeah, it's not televised, but there's a ton of media coverage. You're on the ball. You're tweeting all the time. You're always on their Facebook page and stuff like that. You know, and that's what we ask for. It definitely helps out a lot in terms of sponsorship and stuff like that. But with the level of competition this APC series has, I'm having a ball doing it. I don't want to go anywhere else. As much as I would to go down south and race, I'm having fun up here racing this series. I think it's one of the best series around, and I can't wait to see what the future brings to it. Well, I mean, you're just out there every week with a bunch of monsters and savages that live this and breathe this style of racing. I mean, in terms of worthy adversaries, you couldn't ask for much more than what you get on the APC Tour. I totally agree with you. You know, like I said, the competition level is super high. You have some of the best drivers in Ontario, Canada. I'm sure you'll see some of the Pinty guys come and race. I think JR might come and do a race. You know, we already had Beauchamp last year. I think he's coming back for some more cool this year. DJ was coming out. That'd be fun if DJ was coming out to do a race or two. And you know, you can never expect who comes out because it's such an amazing series. Who wouldn't want to come around it? You mentioned that you're also going to stay as busy as possible with the new Delaware Triple Crown. Now, that's something brand new that Delaware's trying, as opposed to having a weekly late model series. You're in favor of it, no? Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I think the weekly race series up at Delaware for late models at least are kind of done for the time being. I think we only had maybe 10 or 11 cars out each week last season, and it's to be totally honest with you, it's a lot of racing running every week and going to do the APU stuff. It's a ton of money. A lot of guys can't do it. I can't do it. So I think their best bet was to go with this 3-race program, much like Flamboro's. You know, you look at Flamboro's Triple Crown, and I think they're, maybe getting 18, 20 cars out per race for that Triple Crown.
That's correct. It's always Flamborough's best attended races when they roll up the Triple Crown.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is Delaware's best bet. I know it's gonna finally make them some money for the late model fields. They're gonna have good payouts and stuff like that. And I think this is the best route to go for Delaware Speedway. I know they really want to focus with the KS cars and the super stock stuff like that, which is a great idea. A little bit of a lower cost racing, brings a lot of fans out. Super fun to watch. No one wants to watch 11 cars going around in a circle with one guy winning by half track, stuff like that, and you get the odd wreck in there, and there's 5 guys out. No one wants to see that. It's boring.
And the thing is that the tire bill and the fuel bill is still the same whether you're racing against 24 cars or 11 cars, right? So,
exactly. And the great thing about the Triple Crown is, you can maybe break even, whereas, a weekly Delaware race, you wouldn't break even. So, every little bit of funding helps out. So
does the size of the speedway of Delaware, is that part of the reason why guys aren't able to run a traditional 15 race schedule like some other tracks are able to do?
I really don't know. I really don't know, because Sunset has a lot of races, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I couldn't tell you whether it's the location. I know we're 2 hours from Toronto, or 3 hours from Barrie. I don't know whether the guys think it's too fast. When you wreck at Delaware, you wreck hard. And I'm sure you've seen a couple of huge wrecks there before. So I really don't know what it is, whether it's the location or something like that. But like I mentioned, I think it's Delaware's best interest to go to this 3-race schedule. I think it's going to bring a lot of fans out. I think it's going to bring a ton of drivers out. I think the first race, if I'm not mistaken, is the first race right before the APC race at Delaware.
That's correct.
Sunset, sorry.
Yes, right before Sunset.
I think that'll be a great warm-up race, if you want to call it, for the next.
Oh, it'll be the ultimate shakedown session.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
If you wanted to test what you got against elite level competition.
Yeah, no one's going to start off the box fresh. You're not just going to go to a big tour race, without a race under your belt. You've been in the off season for 3 or 4 months, and you got to get some time on track. So I think it was within their best interest to put that one race right before the first APC race, and I think they're going to have 20, 25 cars up to this race. I think it's a great idea on their part.
I think the concept of less racing but simultaneously having more meaningful racing is a great idea. It's worked for Sunset. It's worked for Flamborough. There's no reason to think that it won't work for Delaware Speedway. I know that the Erlins have done such a great job so far, and I really do think that they're on the right track with this late model deal in trying to rebound the car count back to where it was a few seasons ago.
Yep, no, I totally agree. Russ is doing a great job. So is Johnny up there, and they're really putting their minds together and trying to figure out how we can actually get some more cars, late models, to that track. So I think their best idea yet is to have this Triple Crown race, and definitely looking forward to it.
Matt, I appreciate the time, my man. This is 20 minutes flew right by, and we're gonna do some more interviews with you. I think we'll do another one after Speed Weeks where we sort of talk APC racing and break down your competitors. Because I'd love to hear what you think about the guys that you're racing with. Give me some honest answers.
I don't open up much, man. So we'll see if you can get out.
I think I can do it. I think I can do it.
Too. Yeah,
all right,
sure.
So we'll let you. I'll let you go. Get back in the shop. Get that car ready. I mean, we talked off audio about how you didn't really need to do a whole lot to it because you had the whole month of July and August or whatever it was to put it back together again.
It's pretty much a brand new car.
Yeah. So now you get to just sort of sit back and let these other guys slave away at their cars and get ready for opening night because you're already ready to go. So
I've seen a lot of Facebook posts and a lot of people putting a ton of work into it. So I'm happy to kick my feet up and watch that. So
exactly. The hard part's over for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, when we get back from Speed Weeks, we'll give you a call and we'll do one of these APC breakdowns. I look forward to it, my man.
I appreciate it.
All right, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing what you can do in a full-time effort on the tour. I mean, the pro late model racing in Ontario has not been this strong in a long time, and I think adding your name to this crazy bushel of competition is just going to make things that much more interesting for 2016.
I totally agree. I can't wait. It's the global warranty Toyota Town Camry is going to be faster than last year, so we're definitely looking forward to it.
Thanks very much, Matty. That's Matt Pritiko gearing up for the 2016 full run at the APC United Late Model Series presented by Grisdale Racing Products.